Thank you very much, sir. I wish to make a small PowerPoint presentation. I had shared the PPP with Arjun, sir. I request him to just show if it is possible.
Yes, we are doing that.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. As we know that Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has announced a slew of measures for the promotion of green growth and renewable energy in interim budget. And the first major announcement was rooftop solarization. 1 crore households to be enabled to obtain up to 300 units free electricity every month. And I can tell you, I was in Ayodhya when Prime Minister had actually announced a new scheme on January 22nd, which is called Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana. And under this Yojana, the target was to install rooftop solar on 1 crore houses. And Prime Minister was very specific. He said that the power of the sun must be harnessed by common man. And this Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojana is part of that larger initiative to encourage and promote renewable energy. And this, of course, has been given primary space in the budgetary proposals by Finance Minister. And the thinking is that this will help not only reduce electricity bills of the poor and the middle class, but will also push India's goal of becoming self-reliant in the energy sector. Now, Finance Ministry has actually outlined these are the broader objectives of this scheme. Savings up to 15 to 18,000 rupees annually per household from free solar electricity and selling the surplus to the distribution companies, charging of electric vehicles, entrepreneurship opportunities for a large number of vendors for supply and installation. We have seen that in Rajasthan, where the state government had announced such a scheme. There a lot of entrepreneurship opportunities were created. Employment opportunities for the youth with technical skills in manufacturing, installation, and maintenance. So there are multiplier effects of deciding to set up 1 crore rooftop solarization. And this is expected to help boost also economy and the energy sector. Green energy, Prime Minister, in fact, while responding to the big debate in Lok Sabha just now, has mentioned that green energy is a priority area for his government and has mentioned about different initiatives that were taken to promote green energy in the last 5 years. In the budget, with the aim of meeting the commitment of net zero by 2070, FM has proposed the following measures. One, viability gap funding to be provided for harnessing offshore wind energy potential for initial capacity of 1 gigawatt. Coal gasification and liquefaction capacity of 100 metric tons to be set up by 2030. This is also the year by which India has to achieve its SDG goals. This will also help in reducing imports of natural gas, methanol, and ammonia. And we do know that the uncertainties in the global oil and energy market because of developments in West Asia, the Israel-Gaza war, and then the attack from Iran and other countries in Israeli territories. We know this has become a zone of uncertainty, and even the crude oil prices have been fluctuating. So this has affected that. So this is also a part of that larger strategy to reduce gradually, incrementally, the imports of natural gas. Now, the next important proposal that FM announced was phased mandatory blending of compressed biogas in compressed natural gas for transport and piped natural gas for domestic purposes to be mandated, and financial assistance to be provided for procurement of biomass aggregation machinery to support collection. This was also an important proposal that FM had announced. Now, she also spoke about the need to adopt e-buses for public transport networks and also explained the intent of the government to encourage, through payment security mechanism, a greater adoption of e-buses for public transport networks. And we will see more action on this front as the year passes by. And she very categorically said that our government will expand and strengthen the e-vehicle ecosystem by supporting manufacturing and charging infrastructure. This is again a work in progress. And if you just look at the data that has been shared by the industry association, which works on e-vehicles, that there is a very significant, last time I checked, there was a 600 to 700% increase in sale of electric vehicles in the country, especially the two-wheeler segment. And these are initiatives which is designed actually to create a far more vibrant and viable ecosystem to promote electric vehicles. And this strategic initiative will focus on both manufacturing and charging infrastructure, aiming to fortify and broaden the landscape for electric vehicles. State governments will be encouraged as part of this initiative. And this is a point that I've already made. And I think this is what the Surface Transport Ministry had to say on the e-buses adoption front. A press release said that this is part of government's plan to encourage the widespread adoption of electric buses to promote an eco-friendly and energy-efficient mode of commuting. This will be facilitated through the implementation of a payment security mechanism, fostering confidence among e-bus operators. Now, we know that Prime Minister Modi has adopted the vision of making the country carbon neutral by 2070. And in a statement issued on the budget day, the Ministry of Heavy Industry said, this proactive step reflects the government's commitment to fostering a cleaner and greener future with an emphasis on building a robust foundation for the sustainable growth of the electric vehicle industry. Now, on biomanufacturing and biofoundry also, FM has proposed a new scheme which will provide environment-friendly alternatives such as biodegradable polymers, bioplastics, biopharmaceuticals, and bio-agri inputs. I'll request Arjun sir to play the next slide. Yeah. So as you can see, to promote the green growth, this is a new scheme that has been proposed for biomanufacturing and biofoundry. And idea is, of course, as I said, to provide environment-friendly alternatives such as biodegradable polymers, bioplastics, biopharmaceuticals, and bio-agri inputs. On the budget front, if you just look at the money that has been allocated for this financial year, and of course, this is an interim budget, government will revisit these figures when a new government is formed and the full budget is presented in the first week of June. We'll know more about government's intent. But for now, the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has been allocated 3,265 crores. This is slightly higher, 34 crore more than what was earmarked last year. But as many experts have actually raised concern that this is just 0.07% of the total estimated expenditure. In interim budget, the budgetary allocation for institutions such as Central Pollution Control Board, the Central Zoo Authority, the National Biodiversity Authority, and the Commission for Air Quality Management has been increased from 158 crore to around 192 crore. So this is a work in progress. A lot of concern about why the budget is not being hiked. We will know perhaps a bigger picture will come in June when a full-fledged budget is proposed. But even in the interim budget, I was just counting, there are some 6-7 important proposals have been announced. I can tell you that I was in Ayodhya last month, and in an interview to me, the district magistrate of Ayodhya said that Government of India has decided to set up a solar city in Ayodhya. And this is part of the larger initiative to encourage power and renewable energy companies to invest more money into renewable energy. And as part of this larger initiative, this solar city is being built up. So we do see a lot of sincere action on the ground. But as some experts have raised concern that why the allocation for Environment Ministry is not being increased, because we know that this is an age of climate change. We know that this is also an age where the intensity, the frequency, the scale of disaster incidents are continuously rising. And we have seen one of the worst disasters in recent years. So there's a need to actually work more on climate change. There is a need to revisit the Disaster Management Act of 2005, which is now 19-year-old. Unfortunately, concepts like climate change, sustainability do not even find mention in our Disaster Management Act. So there's a need to revisit the legislative framework that we have. There's a need to revisit the policy frameworks that we have so that we can more effectively actually address these concerns. And the impact on farmers, especially, this is a subject that we have discussed last year. And I've personally seen farmers struggle with the impact of climate change. Now, just last year, to just give you a context, in February, there was an unseasonable rain, which had a very bad impact on wheat crops in Western UP. Then in March, again, we saw unseasonal hailstorm, which destroyed parts of crops in Western UP. Then in April, there was concern about above average temperature and how it could actually affect the cropping patterns in Western UP. So I've met large number of farmers who were increasingly bewildered by this sudden change in the climate. And I think that is that concern that farmers are actually facing on the ground, which is also having an impact. I remember a farmer who used to grow rice during the Kharif season. He told me that I'll be sowing sugarcane this time because I can't face the vagaries of nature. And it is becoming more and more uncertain actually to do agriculture. So I think this is one subject that I think we should expect FM to give a far more concerted attention. That is the challenge of climate change when she or any new government, when they appoint a finance minister, when the new budget is actually presented in Lok Sabha in the first week of June by the new government, we should expect far more attention to the subjects and the challenges posed by climate change, especially on the agrarian economy. But for now, I think in the interim budget, she has outlined 6-7 priority areas, but I think a lot more needs to be done.